Our part 3 now, we want to bring in the static key route. At the moment, you can observe that this router 0 cannot communicate with router 2. This is simply because these two routers are in different networks. We need to bring them together by the use of the static key route. Now remember, when you are configuring static route, let me put this thing here. Setting static route is only configured on routers with remote networks. So if a router is not having a remote network, that router we are not going to put a static key route. So let's begin the analysis. We begin with router 0. When look at router 0 has a remote network, which is this one here. This is a remote network that is not directly connected to router 0. So I'll have my remote network, which is equal to 192.168.2.0, and the subnet mask we are using for that is the 24. This is the only one we have. So router 1, we look at router 1. This one has no remote network because all of them are directly connected to it. So here we have no remote network. Then router 2, this is the router now. This one has this as a remote network. So we have remote network is equal to 192.168.1.0. This is very, very important. You always have to first identify the remote networks. So the router that does not have a remote network, we shall not put a static key route. Like router 1, no need of static key route. So the rest we are going to put a static route there. So let's begin now. We are beginning with our router 0. This one has a static route. Static route for router 0. This is how we are going to configure it. We say enable config, then we say IP route. Now you put a remote network. Our remote network, we have already identified it. It is here, 2.0, and the subnet mask is /24. So that is what we are going to put here, 192.168.2.0. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Then you see, when I'm here and I want to send data here, the gateway is going to be this one here. This will be the first IP address I'll pass through before data goes to this network. So the gateway address is the one I'll put now here, which is 192.168.1.2. So let me expand it such that everyone can see it. So that is the only static route we need on that router. We end, then we save. Router 1, we are not going to have a static route. That one, you have already seen that. So we need to configure static route also for router. Static route for router 2. this one here. So that one, just the same code. The only thing we are going to change is the remote network for that was 1. Subnet mask is the same. The gateway address is going to be, when I'm here and I want to send data here, this one will be the gateway, which will be 2.2. So here I'll have 2.2. So that is the static route for router 2. So what we are going to do is just now to copy this code and paste it in our router 2. I'll right click, copy that. I go to this router, I right click, then paste. You have to look at this, errors should not be there. Then also we do the same for router 0. Router 0, this is the static route we configured. You right click, you copy, click the router 0, you right click, then you paste. So we are done. So we are going to test now to see if our static route is working. We pick this file, take it on router 1, and then we bring it here. Yes, at last the two routers are now communicating, meaning the static route is working. Here you get a message successful. So meaning the two routers which are in different networks can now communicate with the help of the static route. So that is what we had to look at for today. And in case of any question, feel free to send your question. I'll always respond.